So I'm going to demonstrate how to do the brick stitch. And the secret is a brick stitch is just using a back stitch to fill in a space. So we're going to repeat the back stitch several times, but you line up the stitches in an alternating pattern similar to how you would if you were laying bricks. So that's why it's called the brick stitch. I am currently using 6 strands of floss, and that is my favorite number to use for this because, well, it fills in the space faster, but the bulk on it really helps you see the pattern. So you can see I've kept my stitch lengths pretty consistent down here. And now on the top, I'm going to make one little half stitch. And then I'm going to restart on this side and go down the row like I'm just filling in this little spot and placing my needle in the center, well, lined up with the center of that previous stitch. And since I had a half stitch up here at the top, I'm going to add my little half stitch down here at the bottom. And on the brick stitch, it's important to keep your strands really close together, or your stitches, like your lines of stitches, really close together. As you can see right here, I missed that little gap. And the fix for it, instead of like unpicking all these stitches, is you take one strand of floss on a needle and you can just like sneak it in between. And then it fills in the space. You won't be able to see the gaps, and it actually works really well. So that's if you were just going to use 2. But most of the time, if you're filling in a space, it won't be this little. It's going to be more like this size. So I'll show you if we're going to use more. This one is going to be with 5 rows. So I'll make my first stitch here, and then directly next to it, I make a half stitch. And then I alternate and do a full stitch again. And I come down here and do another half stitch. You can do this without, you can do this similar to how we did over here, where you do 1 row at a time, but it's honestly kind of hard to keep the stitches consistent all the way across. So I found that this is the easiest way to do a space and to keep it looking really, really neat and cool. So now I have this row stitched in. I'm going to add in the next row, but instead of doing a half stitch, I'm going to do a full stitch on both. Adding the half at the beginning is what gives you your different placement. And the more you practice, the more you'll be able to do consistent stitch lengths. And that's honestly like something I'm not super good at yet, but the more we practice, the better we're going to get. So now I am going to drop this to a time lapse so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit quicker. Now let's tackle this shape down here. Unusual shapes are a little bit more difficult than doing this. One thing I found to be helpful is I take, this is a fabric pen that I use. It's a heat erasable pen. So when you mark on it after you're done, you can iron and the image goes away. I really love these. So I'm making this into little bars, like a little ladder, and that's going to help me keep my stitch length consistent as I go. So you don't have to use the heat erasable pen. You can use any, like a pen or a pencil, because these are, it'll be hidden by the stitches. So you should be okay to stitch over the top. So on the first one, I'm going to go all the way up to the first rung, and on the second stitch, I will go up to the second. Then I'm going to alternate just like I did up here in where I'm placing these stitches. Then I'll flip up here and work my way down. So drawing the little bars helps, just helps you keep in line. And these bars are probably a little further apart than they should be on this shape, but you should get the concept with this. I'm getting really close to the end of my thread, but I think I can make it to show you the last of the stitches. Yeah, so there's one more here. Okay. This is called playing chicken with your thread. It doesn't always work out so great, so watch out for that, but it worked this time. So just make sure that you remember, if you're drawing the bars, it's not 1 stitch length apart, it's half a stitch length. So these ones, like I said, maybe a little bit long for this shape, but it still worked out really well. So yeah, that's the brick stitch.